What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Awesome Show. Today we're looking at the Hasbro Power Rangers Lightning Collection Zord Ascension Projects Dino Megazord. So this is the first of their ZAP Megazords. So we have MZ0101 Mighty Morphin Dino Megazord. So of course the normal Megazord from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And this thing I hope is pretty cool. I've heard a lot of disappointing things about the Zord, but of course getting it in my own hands, we'll have to just see how it compares. But I think overall box wise, just from the start, it looks really cool. So we have this outer sleeve that I've already cut loose, so we'll have to slide it off, but just seeing the Megazord head under there and then kind of like an outline of it on the sides in yellow looks really cool. Of course, this is a part of their new plastic free packaging, so we don't have any plastic packaging. We'll have all the stuff wrapped up, as you'll see, in like tissue paper. But let's go and just spin the box around so you can see it. So on the side there we have a cool picture of the Megazord, very cool artwork around on all this, so there you can see that on there. And then if we spin around to the back, we can see what the Megazord's going to look like with all the Zords on the side. And then what really makes me excited about this is the little figures that come with it. I've always had an obsession with little figures like micro machines and stuff, so getting these little Rangers is going to be really cool. And there are versions of them sitting in the cockpits, as you can kind of see on the side there, so we'll of course take a look at that, but just looks cool there. And if we spin around to the side, we can see all of the things. Of course, can't really get it to fit, but on the sides we have the T-Rex, Mastodon, Pterodactyl, Triceratops, and Sabertooth tiger, and they're all kind of labeled, so you can see Z0101 and like D, so it's A, B, C, D, E, so that's pretty cool. They're all labeled there. But let's go ahead and just slide the sleeve off here, and then we'll maybe take a look at like the top of the box. So there's the Z, so it's the Zoo Ranger logo, so the Sentai version, so that's the Z logo and stuff, and then has the MZ01, so Megazord 0101, which appeared in season 1 episode 1. So pretty cool sleeve design there. But then we have the box. Now for the box, it looks really cool with the Megazord helmet and just the design. Again, very cool artwork done for this. And up at the top here, we do have a QR code, which I believe if you scan this, it'll take you to the Zord Ascension Project website, so you can see more information on the Megazord itself. But again, an awesome box design. We've already seen most of it. There's the back of it. There it just has the Z on it there, if you can even see that, but it just still has the same size we've already looked at. But now we can just go and slid the lid off and see the inside of the box, which looks really cool. So we have the inside like consoles of the Megazord, which is really cool. So we have the Tyrannosaurus Rex, we have the Red Ranger helmet, and the T-Rex head there with the power coin in the middle, and then some of the other jewels. And then same with the Pterodactyl, Mastodon, Triceratops, and Sabertooth tiger. So very cool to see like their actual console designs in there. And then if we go and take these covers off, we'll see the actual Zord pieces in here. So this, you can see we have the tissue paper, which has a really cool design. So we can just slide this out. So yeah, this feels like the T-Rex. So you can see the design in there, which looks like it's the bunch of the Z designs for the Zoo Ranger. So everything is now wrapped up in this tissue paper, and we can see the T-Rex there. So we've got that. We can sit off to the side. Looks like we have accessories, probably like the power sword in here, it looks like. So that looks cool with the design of the gold and the silver. Just looks awesome. And then it looks like we have instructions and other paperwork down inside here. Yeah, instructions, so if we need it. And then on the other side, we should have our other Zords, and I like how they're in the order they were. So we have the Sabertooth down at the bottom. So there's the Sabertooth tiger in its mode, and then we have the Triceratops, the Mastodon, which looks really cool, and finally the Pterodactyl. It's all folded up into the chest design. And then we had an additional little packaging that came with an additional set of hands. So we have some open hands as well as the guns for the Zords for in the carrier mode, along with our little mini figures here. So we have the Red Ranger, and I like how they're all posed up. The red never shows up that good, so it's having some issues picking him up. But we have the Red Ranger, the Yellow Ranger, the Blue Ranger, Black Ranger, and the Pink Ranger, and I like how they're all posed up. So I love having these little figures. This is one of the main reasons why I wanted this Zord. Now that it looks like we got everything on the box, let's go and look at the actual Zord. Oh, and I also forgot to show how cool the inside of the box lid is, where we have the Megazord there fighting against Goldar, so the big Goldar. So that just looks really cool. Awesome artwork design there. Okay, so I got the Megazord put together in Megazord form, because we're going to take it, break it apart, put it into the Dino modes, and then back into the Megazord, just so you can see that process. But overall, I do see why people have a lot of issues with this. I do like it overall. I just wish this could be better, and I do have some issues I'll point out. But I do think it overall looks pretty cool. Now, I have dealt with the Dino Megazords before. I have 3 other versions I'll show you towards the end. So I have dealt with the Megazord, you know, morphing them back and forth and everything. And so I do see a lot of issues and weird stuff going on with this one. Some things I like, some things I don't like, but the biggest thing about this is it's supposed to be more highly detailed. Like if we bring it up close, you can see some of the forms. So nothing on here is stickers, so it's got nice detailing. So like this around in here is all a see-through, so like see-through yellow, see-through red, everything's painted on. It's just the paint's not the best. Like I don't know if I can find anything to really show it to you. Like I know on the actual Megazord head itself, it doesn't have the best paint job. Like I don't know how close I can get in here to show you, but the paint job around like on the head and stuff isn't the best, like just the paint around there. But like I said, head, you can see the see-throughness of there. There's the paint all the way around on the arms. Like I said, it's not the best paint jobs ever. It's some of it's kind of sloppy, but it's even, you know, around on the back in some of the parts. And overall, it just has really nice detail. Like I like the chest plate there for like the whole window design, and then just the design. Like I said, everything's like painted on or designed on. Nothing's like a stick or anything. There's more see-through like red there on the knee designs and stuff. There's just some minor issues with this Zord compared to the past Zords I've dealt with. That is kind of annoying. But one thing about this Zord, the like biggest thing with it is to try and get you more joints, because a lot of the old Megazords don't really have joints in them. Like you don't have very limited movements. So like this, the head, there is some head movements. So like the neck can rock back and forth, so it can nod there, and the head can twist around. So you get movements in there. The shoulders, which I think is always usual thing, can twist around. There is some movement out to the side. If you get it there, you can kind of get it up more. So you have that movement in there. And you have like a bicep twist. You do have like an elbow joint as well, so you can bend up to like 90. So you get some 90 and twisting. The wrist can twist all the way around. We have like an ab crunch design, so there's just a little bit of an ab crunch in the middle and some twisting around, so you twist all the way around there. We have similar with hips. The hips can come up all the way to 90, which is cool, and then even out to the side a little bit, so a little bit of hinge in there. Some thigh twist as well. A knee joint, so the knee can bend back pretty much close to 90, you know, have some issues with stuff hitting each other, as well as like some ankle, so it can rock back and forth and twist a little side to side. I know the Triceratops head's twisting, but there is a little bit of a twist and joint up in there, so you get more movement with this, which we didn't in the past. So that's one thing that's nice, is, you know, having all the additional movements, so you can actually take a Zord and sort of like pose it up and everything, because I deal with a lot of Zords. Megazords are like one of the main things I collect from Power Rangers, so not being able to do movements and stuff and them just always pretty much having to just be stationary is always a major letdown with the Zords. So this fixes all that, but it does also make some changes to the Zord that I don't like. And like I showed, a lot of this is painted and everything, but I don't feel it's painted very good, so it's kind of annoying with that, you know, they put the extra detail and stuff into it, but it didn't do it well enough. So like I said, I do like this Zord. I don't know if it's worth the money. Like I've already seen the Zord on sale prices. Like I know GameStop has it for a good price and some other places do as well. So if you want to get this Zord, try and get it at a cheaper price. Don't pay full price like I did. Of course, I pre-ordered it, so I wish I wouldn't have, and then kind of waited and was able to, you know, pay the much lower price at like GameStop, but I paid full price, so it kind of makes this a little bit harder to fight and stuff just because of the issues. Like I said, it's not horrible. It's just pretty annoying because like trying to mess around with it, it easily with the joints moves around, so then it's really hard to get it to stand back up, and it's kind of standing here crooked. I don't know what the issue is with that, why it's standing over to one side, and I can't really get it straightened. Not sure if there's something wrong with it, but it's standing a little bit crooked, which is annoying. But now that we've looked at it here, let's start taking it apart to put it into the dinos. So we'll go and just start off with the Pterodactyl, and I do have pretty much everything on it. Like I don't have the weapons, we'll put those in last, but I did try to put everything that came with this on it and the minor changes they made. So first off, we have the Pterodactyl, of course, the Pink Ranger Zord. So we have it here where it's all folded up. So we'll go ahead and fold the wings out. So we'll fold these out to the side. And of course, I've done this multiple times, so I know mostly what the Zord is like, but they have made some minor changes, so it's a little bit annoying. But there's the wings folded out, and of course, you can fold them down a little bit more if you want, but we'll just have them straight out. And then we can also grab the head here and pull it forward. So there we have the Pterodactyl head. And of course, with all these, they do have the little cockpit pieces where we see the Rangers in it. They're not that great. I wish they would have done more detailing into those. But for the Pterodactyl here, it's just right there in the front, so you can see the little pink Ranger down inside there. So like I said, there's not much detail. It's just a pink sort of blob. But it's pretty cool that they did include those. That's one thing I like about the Zord a lot as well, is that included. But there we have the Pterodactyl. And of course, there's a little tail piece back here that kind of flips around, which is something new. But either way, it looks pretty cool. And then of course, we need to try and get it to stand up. So we have the gun pieces on the back here that we can pull off. So you just pull them off the back of the Megazord. So it's the gun pieces here. And then we just take these and slide these onto the bottom, like of the, I guess would be the tail piece here. But it gives it feet for the Pterodactyl so that it can stand up. So there's the Pterodactyl, and there's a lot of issues with the head just really loose and floppy. But there we can sit the Pterodactyl up now, and with the design, it, like I said, it's like feet, so it actually stands up. And I guess the next part would probably be the Mastodon. So with this is one of the things that annoys me, is the tail. So I have this piece on here. So you separate the tail apart, even though it's just very minor separation, but I think you're supposed to do it so it can have the crunch. But we have to pop the tail off, and the peg it's on is really hard, and I'm afraid it's going to break. So it's just clipped on this little peg back here. It goes right into this gray section there. So like I said, it's clipped on there really tough, so getting it off makes a really loud pop sound. I'm afraid either these or that peg's going to break, so I have to be very careful with that. But there we have the tail. So we'll just attach this back onto the Tyrannosaurus. So we'll just pop it right in there. And now we can pull the Mastodon off. So it's just like the other one. So if you've messed with old Zords, the pieces here just pop off the side, so they just kind of pop out there, and that's all that's holding it on. So we have this piece now, and with this we can go and just fold these pieces in, fold the shoulder pieces down, and then we have the arms here that we can bend around so it releases the legs. So we can can fold them around, and I believe they come out just like that. You're supposed to stick them straight back, and then they bend down on the back here to cover up like that. And that's mostly the Mastodon. Of course, we have the head, so we have the shield head piece here that just clips on. Now this lower piece here, this little clip piece that pops into this little like white section down here, worried me a lot because I didn't know that was there, and trying to pop it off, it was still stuck in, and I thought I had already broke this Zord. So I'm like, oh great, I just got it and already broke it. But there's the Mastodon with the head. And of course now we have this openness on the back here, which I think was like a usual thing on the old ones. But with this, we have some extra pieces that are attached on the back here. So we have this like tread designs that we pop off that don't really need to be there. You don't have to do it. That's just how it shows you in the instructions. So we can then take these pieces and pop them on the back here. I'm not really sure which way they go. So you just pop those on there and it covers that up. So it's nice that it covers that up so you don't just have that opening, but it's annoying that that's something that's never been like done before. And so you have these extra pieces now that when you put it in the mode, you have to pop them up and store them. But at least they did include a place on the back of the feet here that stores them, so you don't have to worry about them hanging around. So I do like that design, and overall the Mastodon looks good. Of course, we have the little cockpit piece in here. His is hard to get to, but we can open it up there and see just the little Ranger figure inside there. Again, no paint or anything. I wish they were much more detailed, but there he is inside there. So nice little cockpit piece there. And overall, there's the Mastodon that looks really good. I love the design on him. Like I said, paint job's not the best with like the white especially, but overall it just looks really cool, and I do like having the covering to make it more solid. And then we'll go and do the legs. So we'll start with the Triceratops, and again, these have a new leg connection piece, so it's this little section right in here that pops down into the joint, and it was really stiff on this one. I thought I was gonna break it, so just have to be careful, but I did finally get it popped out. So here we have the Triceratops, and it's more where it's just the foot. So with this, all we have to do is just fold the leg down. So I like the little like feet designs that are already on there, and then we fold the tail out as well. So there's the tail, and with the gun, so you can kind of have it like that if you want, so it can be like shooting the missiles out. So overall looks pretty cool. Not much to it. There's no rollers or anything, but again, we do have the head movements on there that can twist around. The horns are a little messed up from the packaging, so I don't know if it's supposed to be bent up more or what the deal is, but something's a little messed up there. And then of course we have the little cockpit right in the horn with Billy sitting down inside there, so that's pretty cool. But really that's all there is for the Triceratops. I think it looks pretty cool. Again, nice designs with the paint designs instead of stickers and stuff. Looks pretty cool. But there we have the Triceratops, and then we'll go and do the Sabertooth. So again, same sort of connection piece. So with this, we'll go ahead and fold the legs down. So we got to get them rotated all the way around. You can bend the head down as well. So the teeth do fold down, but mine were like stuck or something. I think you may have to fold this outside one. There we go. Yeah. So I was twisting the inside one because on Pazords they're separate. So I was twisting it and I almost broke this one off already. So you have to be careful there. We get the back legs that can fold down as well. So you just grab those and pull them down and fold the tail out on that as well. So there we have the Sabertooth tiger, and it has the movements, the mouth that opens, some head movements in there as well. A little bit of back and forth, and of course all the leg movements as you just saw. So we have that, and then we do have the cockpit piece right on top of the head with Trini down inside there, which is cool. So we have that Sabertooth now, which does look funny to me because compared to all the other ones, it's really big. You'll see that more in a second, but it's just already really big. But then we've got the Tyrannosaurus, again, pretty much just how it is. I already connected that tail piece back in. So with this, all we have to do is get the arms moved out of the way, open up the chest piece here, fold the horns back on the helmet, so they fold to the back just like that, and then we can go ahead and pull the actual T-Rex head out, and it folds up in there, and then pop this piece back in, and it clips back in with the T-Rex head sitting fully on top of it. So we have that. We can bend the arms back down there and then unfold the feet, so the feet fold up. And now this thing actually is different. So we have these little red flaps that open up, and then you take and fold this clip piece in, so the piece that connects with all the others, you have to fold it back, and I don't know if it's this one, but yeah, they're pretty stiff, so it's hard to get them to bend. So you just fold it back until it's folded all the way down in there, and then you cover it up with the red piece. So we have to do that on both sides. So there they are, both hidden now, and we can have the feet out, and then of course you gotta just move it around to get the T-Rex to be able to stand and kind of get the joints lined up, and then connect the tail back. There is a little peg piece and stuff there at the bottom that pops right in. So with that, we just gotta now adjust it to be able to get it to stand up. So there's the T-Rex fully in its mode now, and of course with this we can open up the mouth and then the cockpit as well, which is right on the end of the nose, and it's hard to open, but if you get it, you can see Jason sitting down inside there. So very cool overall. So there we have all of our dinos that make up the Dino Megazord. All of them look pretty cool. You can see all the size difference, so you can see the T-Rex is huge compared to all of the other Zords, but they're all pretty cool. Like I said, not the best quality. I don't like some of the differences we have to do with this, you know, like popping the tail off and the back pieces off of the Mastodon stuff. That stuff's all pretty annoying and things that could easily get lost, but overall I think you know, it's not horrible. Like I said, I definitely wouldn't say this is the best Zord ever, but I do like the more movements included with these. But now that we've got it all taken apart and into their dino modes, we can go ahead and put it back together. So now we can put it back in the Megazord mode, but while we're doing it, let's go and put it into the carrier mode. So for the T-Rex, you just fold the legs up to where the pegs are sticking straight out of the front there and still standing, and fold the arms up. So that's all you have to do there for now. Then we'll go and start with the legs. So with this, you don't really have to do much. You just fold the tail up and fold the feet up there, and then just make sure these legs are kind of folded forward out like that. And then we can pop them onto the peg. So it just sticks on the front like that. And do the same for the Triceratops. For this, we just need to fold the tail up is really all it is, and then pop it on the other peg. So it sits now just like that. So there we have pretty much our main carrier part. And then we take the Mastodon. So with this, we just got to pop the head off and then undo the body. So we just got to do this. Again, pop these pieces out here. So they just pop right out so you can get the hands folded forward. So you do that on both sides just like that. And then we can take and attach this onto the back. So again, you just kind of wrap it around here, and then you pop these little peg pieces on the sides into the parts here. So that's the only thing that's really holding it on. And then you fold the arms straight forward with the Mastodon feet still on it. And then with the Mastodon head, you just fold this little piece out a little bit. So it's the handle piece, you know, to hold the shield. But you just need this upper little piece here that goes right into this hole on the front of the chest. So you just slide that right in there. So the Mastodon head just sits right on the front. And then we can take the Pterodactyl. So this, we just need to pop the guns off the bottom of the feet, and then these go right on the front. So those just sit on the front there. So now we have the guns, and then we take the Pterodactyl and just fold the arms up. So you just fold those in and leave the head out. And then you take these peg pieces on the sides right here sticking off and stick them into the holes on the Mastodon, not the circle holes, but the little slots on the sides, and it just slides right in there. And so it just sits right on the back just like that. So there we have the Zord in the carrier mode or tank mode. I can't remember exactly what they call it, but there it is in that mode there. And then of course, just like in the show, we see it transform from this into the actual Megazord. So it's not that difficult. All we have to do is just get the feet to fold up so the legs straighten out, and then the actual heads of the, you know, the animals and stuff bend forward, so then it can actually stand. And like in the show, it then just straightens up. So there's just the mode we have it in now. We can go and take the Mastodon helmet off the chest, fold these arms down, and of course remove the guns off the end of them. So then we just fold the shoulders up, take these hands, flip them around to reveal the actual hands. So pretty simple process there. Then spin it around, and on the back of the feet, we can attach the guns back. And while we're back here, also do the thing with the tail. So as I said, you separate the tail, so you just pop it off there, fold that piece up, and then take the piece here where it's silver, pop it on the peg there, fold this tail down piece as well, and just pop it right in the back. So it hangs on the back there. And now back at the front, we got to get rid of the T-Rex head. So bend the arms out, pull the chest plate down, and then just grab the T-Rex head and kind of shove it down in, and it gets out of the way. And you fold that back up, fold the arms back up, and then you can pull the horns out to the side. Then we take the Pterodactyl piece, so again, how it just was on the back, fold the arms up so we can get the head then folded back, fold the arms back down, and then just pop this right on the front. It has these little peg sections on the side that go into the Mastodon, so it just pegs right in the front. So there's the Pterodactyl attached, and then we have the extra accessory pieces. So again, we have those pieces from the Mastodon that, like I showed before, go on the back here. So they just kind of fold around. So like he has these peg sections up in there, and then just kind of attaches onto the side. So you just have to try and get these lined up and popped on. It's not the easiest thing to get them popped on there, but once you get them on, I do like that. It adds more of a flat base and fits in nice, and, you know, kind of looks like the treads and stuff. I think it fits well on the Triceratops, not so much on the Sabertooth. Not that it's bad or anything, but you pretty much do the same thing. Just find the connection piece and get it slid in. You can see there's like this little piece that it slides up into there. So you just got to get it popped on, and it sticks on there, and again adds more of a flat base onto it. And then we can add the weapon. So we have the Mastodon head. So as I showed earlier, you take this piece, fold it out, but there we can actually have the handhold, and we can put it into the left hand. So there's the Mastodon shield in the hand. And then of course we also have the power sword that we can put into his hand, again with the nice gold in the center, silver everywhere else, and the black handle that we can take and put into the right hand. So there's our Megazord with all the weapons, and that looks really cool. And if we don't want to have him holding all the weapons, we do have the additional set of hands like I showed earlier. So the hands with like the splayed out fingers, so that's pretty cool. We can switch out, but I always want him with the weapons, so I'm gonna obviously just keep it in this form. And then we also have all our little rangers that we can set up on the ground, which I'll set down here. And so if we go down to the feet, we can see them. So you can see just how tall it's supposed to be. So this is supposed to be a scale thing. So this is supposed to represent how tall the rangers actually are compared to the size of the Megazord. So you could just see how tiny they are down there at the feet compared to the rest of the Megazord. So that's another reason why I like those included. So it gives you a sense of scale of the actual size of the Megazord. So again, I love having these little figures included. I wish they were much more detailed instead of just the solid colors, but it's not really surprising that they're just that. So it's nice that we have everything here, you know, all the accessories except for these hands can be attached on here and stored away, so we don't have to worry about losing things or whatever except those hands and the little rangers. But I do like the Zord. Like I said, it's definitely not the best Zord ever. It's definitely not my favorite version, but I can't say it's absolutely horrible. Like I said, it's probably not worth the price, but otherwise it is a pretty good version of the Dino Megazord. And as I mentioned, I have dealt with other Megazords in the past, and those videos are on the channel here, so if you want to check them out, I'll have the playlist linked at the end. So first off, we have the 2010 version from Bandai of the Megazord. So when they re-released the Megazord and they put the show back on TV, we have the Megazord from that, and this was always been like my favorite. It's like a cheap plastic. I think it was really cheap at the time. I want to say like $20, probably more than that, but I know it wasn't that expensive, and for overall the quality of it, I think it's pretty good, and it's pretty much my favorite version of the Zord. It's just with the plastic, everything works nice. Like I said, you just don't get the movements of it. That's the only issue, but beyond that, everything works good. It has stickers and stuff, so that's not the best quality, but stickers are just barely peeling for as old as this is now, because I got it brand new. So for being 12 years old, it's in pretty good shape still. And then I have the other version, the Legacy version, so it's just pretty much the exact same Zord, just with die cast in it, so it has the die cast metal. And this is my main Megazord, so I have this displayed on my shelf. So this is the main one I use because it's pretty much the exact same Zord, like I said, just with the die cast metal. And so it's pretty good quality. I don't like it as much with the die cast. It just makes it look a little bit nicer, but again, not nearly as much movements. And you can see the height differences between all these. The two outside ones should be relatively the same. They looks like the die cast is a little bit taller, but they're definitely shorter compared to the ZAP Megazord. And then the other version I have is the newer Hasbro version, so the pretty cheap version that they released like a couple years ago. It's definitely the worst one. It has some more movements, so it has more of the qualities of this one with the additional movements. It's just much cheaper plastic, and I feel stuff's gonna break a lot easier, and just everything about it seems a lot cheaper, and it's definitely not my favorite. And I know it was pretty cheap, so I feel for the price you did pretty good, but I just feel it's much cheaper. I definitely would prefer this one over this Hasbro one. And then once again, you can see the size comparison, how much smaller it is compared to even the ZAP or the two Bandai versions. So this one's definitely my least favorite, but the two Bandais you can't really either go wrong with. Like I said, this one's probably just my favorite, the plastic version, just because it was my first Dino Megazord, and I just absolutely loved it. So I absolutely have a lot of feelings for this Megazord. Of course, this one's pretty much exactly the same, but I do think comparing them to the ZAP Megazord is pretty good. Like the ZAP Megazord's like looks, like I said, with the paint, no stickers or anything, so don't have to worry about either of the issues with these two. You get the additional movements, but like I said, I'm having a lot of issues getting this like stand up properly because the joints are like moving and he's like falling backwards, and it's just getting pretty annoying with that. I can't just really get him to stand up straight, so I'll probably have to be worked around and get into like a pose or something so we can stand. But I do like having the options. That's one thing I like, the options. So like I said, this isn't a horrible Megazord in my views, especially compared to others. It's just definitely not as good as I think it could be or worth the amount of money that I paid for it. So I just want you to know that if you were interested in getting the ZAP Megazord, that I do like it. It's just not probably worth the amount of money. So if you can find it on a cheaper price, like I said, at the time of recording this, GameStop has it on. So if you see this video, maybe check GameStop. They had it for like $120 or something. So much better price and probably much more what it's actually worth. But it's not an absolute horrible version of the Megazord. I do have like a lot of stuff about this still. But if you already have this Megazord, let me know down in the comments. I just want to hear what your opinions of it are. And if you enjoyed my review, let me know with a thumbs up. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.